Hey guys, what's up? Today I want to show you a very interesting trading strategy. One of the main principles of trading is to buy low and sell high. So how to do that? It's quite easy to say it in theory, but in practice it's totally another story. One common indicator that people tend to use to try to spot when the price conditions are oversold. So that means that there has been a lot of selling pressure and the price is likely to rebound quite soon. One indicator that people tend to look at is the RSI. This is the RSI. Theory would say that you should buy when the indicator approaches oversold condition. And usually the oversold conditions are considered values of RSI of 30 or lower. So this is what theory says. In practice, we will find quite a common situation in which you see the RSI going lower than 30, so basically you would buy here, but actually what happens is that the rebound doesn't happen immediately, but the price continue to slide lower. As you can see, the price goes well below 30 and approaches values around 20. So you basically enter into a trade, and in that case you would find yourself stuck potentially in a trade in loss. What can you do to try to prevent this situation? What I like to do is to combine the use of the RSI with a short-term moving average. In this case, I use the MA9. What is the beauty of this strategy is that not only you spot the oversold condition, but before entering into the trade, you wait at least for a sign of trend reversal. Usually that sign of trend reversal is the price to go above the moving up. So in this case we would enter here and we will have plenty of upside to sell our position in profit. Here we have a 4% upside since the buy signal. Generally this works quite well. I launched this rule at the beginning of June, the 1st of June, and as you can see, the first weeks it performed quite well. Bear in mind that the first time that I tried this rule, I didn't use any stop loss, so basically the rule managed to close in profit, actually 19. I am still waiting to close the last trade, so that's why the rule is still live. But so we can say that 19 out of 20 trade that the rule performed were closed in profit by 1%. The last trade is still open, that's why you can see that the position is sliding in loss. Now we are basically at break even. So what is interesting of this strategy? That has a very high percentage of success, but we need to optimize in the best way possible the take profit and add potentially, to prevent this situation, a stop loss. So what I did is to launch this rule. I launched basically last week, so it's basically a 1 week old rule. Unfortunately, the signs that I got with this rule, adding also a stop loss, are mixed. So basically the rule didn't lose money, but didn't even either made money, much money. Why is that? Let's try to see what are the causes, the possible causes of this underperformance of the second rule compared to the first one. So this is an example of how the rule performed perfectly. So we have a low RSI combined with the price above the moving average 9, and you can see that we managed to catch precisely a 1.5% price increase. All good. Here the strategy worked perfectly. Here we have another example where again we have a low RSI, the price is above the moving average, so this is our buy signal. But in this case we closed the position too early. As you can see, here is our 1.5% of take profit setup, but actually the price went up 4.4%. Another case instead, an opposite case, is the trade that the rule made on Zilica BNB. So basically here we have the same setup, low RSI, price is above the moving average, just that the price made a very small rebound, only to slide lower immediately after. So you can see that the stop loss basically was applied almost immediately. In this case, I am quite happy that the stop loss applied, because the prices moved on the downside much farther, dropping something around 10% from that entry. Let's see what we can do to try to separate, to filter even more these cases in order to optimize the entries, to make sure that the point at which I get the signal, the buy signal from the bot, is actually a very good point of price reversal. Something interesting that I noticed is that if here we are in a 15 minutes time frame, but if we zoom out a bit the time frame, here is the same trading pair, Zilica BNB, we see that on a 4-hour time frame, here is the line to indicate where I entered, the RSI was quite lower. That means that there wasn't enough power of the trend to push at this point the price upward. Let's make another example. As you can recall from the previous example, here on WeChain, we had a very good entry point. Let's zoom out to see how was the macro picture on the trading pair. Here is the chart of VET versus BNB on a 4-hour time frame, and as you can see here, marked the point at which I entered into the market, and in fact, as you can see, the positioning of the RSI is completely different than the one that we saw before. Here we are on an RSI with high value, which means that there is still a strong momentum for the price, and that means that at this point I have more chances to get a trade in profit if I buy. So these are the cases that I prefer to catch for my strategy. Of course, my strategy will trade less, but hopefully more efficiently. So let's try to set up such a strategy that can take advantage of this setup. I want any coin with a moving average lower than the price in a time frame of 15 minutes. I will add another condition. I want also that that coin has an RSI lower than, let's say for example 40 in a time frame of 50 minutes. And as I was saying before, I also want that that coin has an RSI greater than, let's say 65 in a time frame of 4 hours. In this case, I will make sure that not only I will catch a short-term rebound, but on the macro picture, there is still momentum that will provide more chances for my trade to be in profit. In that case, I am going to buy with my BNB wallet. I have some available BNB, so I will use them for my strategy. And then if that coin has a price increased by, let's say 3%, or that coin has a price decreased by, let's say 2%, then I want to sell 100% of that coin back to my BNB wallet. I will, instead of using then, I will try to use anytime. So that means that I will be able to open multiple positions at the same time. When I will buy, I won't wait for the second action to be triggered before buying again. If I would have selected then, instead, the two actions would have been sequential. So I would have buy, then sell, and then buy again. I want to catch more opportunities, so in this case, I will select the anytime operator. I want to execute this 30 times, but I don't want to risk to overtrade, so I don't want to trade more than once. I don't want the buy order to be triggered more than once every 3 hours. So I will call it Oversold reversal optimized. Let's click on launch and let's get a quick review of what I set up. When everything is okay, I can click on launch. Is live. Let's see how it goes.